Hey there, football fans. Well, it's almost Halloween, and we're getting close to the end of the prep football season. And we got a good week this week. A lot of good games. Actually, the game that really caught my eye isn't a district game. We do have a lot of really good district games, but I really like Lee at Fletcher. That's a Thursday kickoff, and we do have several games kicking off on Thursday. So if you root for a team that's a Duval County public school, chances are they're playing on Thursday. So be careful to watch out for that. But Lee at Fletcher, Lee's coming off a tough loss to First Coast last week. 26-20, really probably decided that championship in District 4-4A. So the Generals are kind of bumming. It was their first loss of the year. Meanwhile, Fletcher continues to roll undefeated, snuck past Parker 21-13 last Thursday, and has just continued to look super, just what we thought they'd be in the preseason. So it's going to be a good test. Good test for Fletcher. It'll be a good test for Lee. Again, it's not going to determine anything as far as the playoffs, but it's just a good late season matchup to really kind of give both these teams a measuring stick of where they are. One game that is a district matchup, we just mentioned this team, First Coast. They're hosting Wolfson. Both those teams are 2-0 in their district. First Coast, a little more impressive. They've got a win over Lee. Wolfson's victories came over Forest and Inglewood. Neither one of those two teams have yet to win a game this year. So, but still, Wolfson, if they can somehow pull off the upset and beat First Coast, they'll be right in the thick of it. This is another Thursday game. First Coast, I thought, really looked sharp last week, built up a big lead on Lee, at Lee, and then just kind of had to hold on. Lee made a nice rally at the end, but for the most part, First Coast was in control the whole game, and First Coast quarterback Daryl Jones really starting to heat up. He threw to 4 touchdown passes last week to 4 different receivers, so that should be a good one. And then the final game I want to talk to you guys about, District 2-2B. I want to make sure I have 3-2B. I'm sorry. I thought that sounded funny. Episcopal and Trinity Christian. We haven't talked much about these two schools this year, but this is basically for that district championship. It's at Episcopal. This is a Friday night game, and Episcopal's got a pretty good offense. They've got 2 kids, Winfield and Linster, that have accounted for over 700 yards of total offense on the year. Trinity Christian has a very, very solid offense, and this should be a grudge match. These two teams have been pointing at each other for a while. This is a game that's certainly been circled on the calendar, so it should be a great matchup Friday night. So get out to see a good game on Thursday, see a good game on Friday. I'm sure there's some good games going on in St. Johns County, so I'm going to pass it over to Record Sports editor Justin Barney.
School football in St. Johns County, we have reached week 8, and really the only week that matters for 3 county teams. Bartram Trail and Nice and Menendez all playing for their playoff lives tonight. District games for those 3 teams, and if they do not win, it's season over, playing for pride after tonight if those 3 teams cannot pull out victories. We'll start first with Menendez, 5-2, hosting Palaca, 5-2 as well. And Menendez coming off a loss last week to Middleburg, 18-17. Middleburg was winless in that game, so got to question what Menendez team will show up tonight with really their season on the line in this game. It's win or else for Menendez tonight, and they've worked hard to get to this point and really establish that program, turn it around, and they've circled this game as as the game changer, as what's going to happen if they need to take that next step. Nice, 3-3. They're coming off a loss last week to St. Augustine, 24-17. They were in that game thanks to St. Augustine turnovers all the way until the finish. Ended up being a good game. Nonetheless, that game does not matter now. Nice hosting Lake City Columbia tonight, a big district game. You can bet it's even bigger now with former Nice coach Craig Howard on the opposing sideline. Both those teams, 3 wins for each team. Nice 3-3, Columbia 3-4. Columbia played a pretty tough schedule this season, so some of those losses may be a little deceptive. And it's win or go home for both of those teams right there. District loss in that district basically eliminates either team. So it's a must-win for Nice, especially with a loss to Ridgeview a couple weeks ago. It's fresh in the book, so Nice cannot afford to go 0-2 in that district. Bartram Trail, the king of just close, agonizing losses this season, another one last week, led pretty much the entire game against nationally ranked Madison County, ended up losing 20-10. Once again, as with the other 2 teams, last week's loss does not matter, just chalk it up against the record and not much else. Bartram Trail has got to win tonight against Jacksonville Ed White to continue their playoff streak. Bartram has made the state playoffs every year it's been eligible. That streak's at 7 right now. Bartram at 2-5 entering this game. A little bit different story than we've seen from Bartram Trail as in the teams past. Ed White 3-4, but it's played some pretty solid teams just like Bartram. So once again, the record may be a little bit deceptive there entering that game. 3 other games tonight involving county teams. St. Augustine, after last week's 24-17 win over Nice, will host Port Orange Atlantic, in a district game that's going to probably be over at the end of the first quarter. Atlantic has scored 40 points all season, 0-6, not really much of a competition for anyone. St. Augustine 6-0, firmly established as one of the best teams in the state, heading towards another playoff berth. Ponte Vedra at home against Eaglesview. Ponte Vedra shut out last week, 27-0 in a loss to Hilliard. Eaglesview has won 3 straight after 0-4 starts, so it should be pretty good matchup there. Creekside is off this week, and St. Joseph playing at 6 o'clock game against Bronson. St. Joe's lost 5 straight after starting 1-0. Bronson, a little bit of a side note, Bronson's head coach Al Cooksey, former St. Joseph coach, and guided them to their best seasons in program history. So a little bit of nostalgia for St. Joseph. And that's it. High school football, St. Johns County Week 8.